thank you all. I love you. You're great. In Philadelphia, baseball is a field of dreams, and this surely is heaven down here. And I thank you once again. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Steve Carlton night, a peculiar night, I think, on a lot of levels, because you articulated so many things that you hadn't articulated before in just a few lines. Baseball was your field of dreams. You loved the fans. If there's one regret I think you might have in not speaking all those years was that you couldn't tell the fans how much you appreciated them. And you actually had to call press conferences later in your career to say that. I want to say this has nothing to do with the fans. I love the fans, right?
Yeah. Well, they make it all worthwhile. The game is the game unto itself, but if it weren't for the fans, then you wouldn't have very much. There would be no reason to play.
You emotional man, but yet a man that keeps his emotions in check. The best example of that, you're not a religious person. You said, thank God. You don't believe in any organized religion, yet somebody once said you could look at a crucifix and be moved to tears.
Oh, yeah, what it represents, obviously. Huh? I'm very much a spiritual kind of person. I was never into any, say, formal religion. I think it limits, you know, what there is to learn about all of creation, because they have their own points of view and they polarize themselves against how people may agree or disagree with them. So it doesn't bring man together per se, because there's over 500 religions in the world, and we've killed more people in the name of God than any other thing in all of existence, you know.
I'm not trying to trivialize with a profound question, because we're on a sports show here and it's supposed to be a light show, but this is an important question. It's the most important question anyone should ask themselves in life. Why do you think you were put on this earth?
Teach the world how to throw a slider.
Just that simple, huh?
I don't know.
There's something else to it besides that?
Well, I think we all have our own personal lessons to learn, our own personal contracts, and we do it. In my understanding of creation, we do it many, many times, and this we might just have to learn a small lesson in each lifetime. And but it all starts here. I think the transmigration or the evolution of the soul starts in the physical world.
10 seconds before we go to the break. What if in your next life you were reincarnated as a sports writer?
What a coup de grace.
I was going to say maybe there'd be suicide involved. I don't know. We'll come back. Final moments with Steve Carlton after this. Number 2 all-time left-handed winner in baseball, Steve Carlton, an extraordinarily rare interview because he just doesn't do this kind of thing. Bob Gibson, if I say that name, what does it mean to you?
Consummate athlete, hard worker, a pro. A pro's pro, man's man.
The source of inspiration for you, perhaps, athletically in your career?
Not the, but, you know, up amongst them, you know. I like Koufax as a left-hander, you know. I think he was mechanically pure. Gibson was just power, intimidation and power. I learned a lot from him about intimidation. He never talked to opposing hitters, and always gave that air of, you know, uncertainty, because opposing hitters like to always, you know, approach the starting pitcher and, you know, get that edge of comfort, and he never allowed that, and he intimidated.
Your 300th win came ironically against the Cardinals. How did that feel? Was it ironic to you in any way that you had, of course, the contract, you know, problems with the Cardinals, over $65,000, by the way. But here's your 300th win. Was it ironic for you, Steve?
I guess, you know, the stage was set pretty well for that. I didn't really give much thought at the time. It was just another game to get out of the way for me. The media was all hyped up about this, and I was going to break my silence at that time and talk to them, but we were fighting for a pennant in '83, and it got to be that the important thing was that I was going to talk to the media instead of us fighting for a pennant. So I reversed my, you know, my feelings at the time and decided not to talk to them.
Final thoughts, any regrets? Would you do anything differently in not having spoken for a better part of a decade?
No, I don't look back. I thought about it long and hard. I'd had a pretty good understanding of what was going on when I went into my decision. I'd read papers back in the 50s where they wrote about the game as though they were in the press box. There weren't a lot of quotes, and you know, mystery and mastery and things like that were all the words that they used to use. And these things came out after I stopped talking to the press. And I never changed. I was never a different person, but all of a sudden now I was mysterious.
Edison, on the first requisite to success, said, the ability to apply your physical and mental energies to one problem without ever growing weary. I don't really think he ever grew weary and applied those physical and mental energies to what it is he did. The arm broke down, the shoulder broke down, the body broke down a little bit. He never grew tired of all of that. In that sense, I think Steve Carlton wishes he could pitch forever, and maybe could, maybe will in another life. Steve Carlton, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.
We'll come back, wrap things up close right after this.